Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Prophet Kiana with a Bible teaching today. Today's Bible teaching is titled The Offerings of the First Fruits. The offerings of the first fruits. So Holy Spirit, allow me to be led through to be able to release this message that needs to come forth. Guide me, so I'm sure with everything that needs spoken and delivered. Guide me into releasing what needs to come forth. Guide me, so I'm sure to speak everything that needs to be spoken. Guide me with being able to release anything extra that is needed to be released to this entire message. Allow me to lay it through. Allow me to speak what needs to be spoken and not to lean to my understanding. Allow me to release from anything that is not you from speaking into this message. What's up, everybody? Sorry. Today is First Fruits. It starts at sundown on April 19th to April 20th. Nightfall is your yearly tithes and offerings. It's actually the first and best portion of a harvest or income dedicated to God, symbolizing gratitude, acknowledgement of his ownership, and a trust in his continued provision. So this is about giving thanks to what God has done, as well as to be able to give back to the Lord what is due to the Lord for being there. For being there to help things grow and to give you provision throughout the years. So I will be in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 9. And it reads, the Lord said to Moses, so the Lord speaks to his servant, letting us know, speak to the Israelites and say to them, so now he has told him what to do. I need you to speak to the Israelites, a commandment, the people of God. When you enter the land I am going to give you, and you reap its harvest, bring to the priest a sheaf of the first grain you harvest. So, when you enter the land I am going to give you, and you reap in that land whatever field that is, whatever place that is, whatever you harvest in, bring to the priest a sheaf of the first grain you harvest. So bring to the one who is sent by God, the one who is partaking in first fruits, teaching about first fruits. This is an obedient and commanded festival that needs to be partaken in, that the Father has commanded. He is to wave the sheaf before the Lord, so it will be accepted on your behalf. So, when you bring in what is due to God, that you have asked for in prayer, what is needed to be given, then you need to bring it forth to the Lord, what he has commanded for you to bring. God said, ask anything in my name, I will do. See abundantly above all you could ever ask or think or imagine. So when you give it to the one who is sent from the Lord, who is teaching about first fruits, who is partaking in first fruits, whatever or whoever is sent from God, who is obedient to what he's commanded for his people to do, this needs to be done. And when you bring that sheaf, Sheaf mean, in Hebrew, sheaf translates to omer, which refers to a bundle of grain, stalks, often tied together after reaping. So this is abundance of, because God don't do nothing little. It's always big. So you always going to get an overflow from God when you're doing things that God has gifted you to see, to prosper, and you believe in what you've seen. These is gifts that God has given you, and business God has given you to reap a harvest from. So once you bring that offering, he is to wave the sheaf offering before the Lord. And that's how it will be accepted. The priest is to wave it on the day after the Sabbath. So the day after Sabbath. So tomorrow is the day after the Sabbath. Because today is the Sabbath, which is Saturday. So Sunday. So the person will hold your finances and wave it on that day before the Lord, your sheep, to the Lord, that you have given in the obedience to what God has commanded. On the day you wave the sheep, you must sacrifice as a burnt offering to the Lord a lamb a year old without defect, together with its grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil, a food offering presented to the Lord, a pleasing aroma, in its drink offering of a quarter of a hin of wine. So this is your offerings and your tithes. It needs to be given. You need to sacrifice things to the Lord. It's obedience, and your scales have to be balanced and measured out. So it's 2/10 of your tithes. So it's 2 times your regular 10% in your offerings and tithes. And this will be something that is pleasing to the Lord because you did what he has commanded you to do. You must not eat any bread or roasted or new grain until the very day you bring this offering to your God. So you cannot eat anything pertaining to bread until you have brought your sheep and waved it before the Lord. Until the very day you bring this offering to your God. This is to be a lasting ordinance for the generations to come, wherever you live. This is needed to be done in obedience for every generation to come. An ordinance, something that has already been established, something that is already ordained, something that's always been put in place. And so your first fruits is 2 times. And your offerings and tithes, whatever you give in your offerings needs to match with your tithes. This is obedience to what God has commanded. And your sheep must be weighed for the Lord. And so know who needs to receive this message, and also will not be weighed before the Lord until Sunday, the next day. So I don't know who needs to hear this message, but Holy Spirit allowed to go forth to your will in the name of Jesus.